I'm sorry, but there is not enough Black Americans in America who co-sign the falsehood that Black Americans are the original full-blood Indians. The majority of Black Americans in America who claim they are Indian are not trying to override their African ancestry. Okay. Now I have this clip up of this brother and sister. I've watched a couple of their videos, and they're interesting because they are very adamant about what they are telling us about who we are. This video is, and excuse me if my voice sounds a little like I'm in a hall or something, but I got a little cold. I guess the weather is cracking. And it happens once a year, so excuse me. But this video is called Why Americans Are Being Expatriated from Africa, hashtag Niji, hashtag Black History, hashtag American, hashtag Diaspora. Now, the reason why I'm doing a video on this team right here is because it's basically a fact check. This is a fact check video, okay? The sister says something that isn't correct, right? Now, I gotta tell you, when you are listening to people, you gotta do your own research. No one can make you intelligent. You have to be born intelligent, okay? By way of the Most High and the positive ethereal forces of nature. Now, a man and woman can educate you on a thing, but a man and woman cannot make you intelligent. You have to be born intelligent. So the sister says something that is not correct at all, okay? And she says that the Caucasus Mountains are in Africa, and for that reason, white people should be calling themselves, that come from Africa, should be calling themselves African Americans, excuse me. And that white people in America should be calling themselves African American. Now, if I have that wrong, I'm going to play the video. And then if I said it wrong, she's going to correct it for me. So let's go in and listen to the team.
Don't owe you nothing. That's why we always say here and ask you to join us on our journey of learning how to be more sovereign, being able to navigate, being able through the system, being able to manifest things that you want.
But not only that, you gotta know yourself in order to do that.
They're not sovereign. Sovereign is a major word. Sovereign is being outside of the government agency of America, and I don't think they're sovereign. But let's continue.
Well, see, most of them know that they're not from Africa, so why would they? They have no kin, no cousins.
No. See, they think they're the diasporians. They think they're the diasporians, and they think that they're refugees.
Mm-hmm. It's speculative, right? This is speculative. Okay, let's continue. I also want to note, and I'm going to always note, since I've been doing my videos and, you know, I haven't been consistent with the videos. I don't care to be consistent with the videos. But I do advocate for smoking the good cannabis. You dig what I'm saying? And since I've been on YouTube, I've been smoking. And I've seen various people begin to smoke on their channels. When they started their channels, they didn't smoke. Maybe they was in fear of YouTube and losing likes, not being able to be thrown in the algorithm, or not being able to monetize the channel. I say keep it real with yourself and do what you like. Shout out to Shock Chi and rest in peace, Digital Underground.
Of Africa.
Oh yeah, that's
because
right.
of religion and that indoctrination and that proclamation and that Pan-Africanism, they think that they suffer from diaspora.
Well, you know what? That's insane.
Sad.
This time of awakening, with so much information that's out there, things that are now that were hidden being revealed. There's no reason for that.
Now I want to say, every time I pause it when she put that spliff in her mouth. And you know, I love sisters that smoke cannabis. You know what I mean? It's sexy as hell. But anyway, I did this video before and it was quite extensive, and I killed the extent of the video because I always do that. I'll do a video and I'll go hard into the video and then I'll just delete it and don't even post it because some of the things can be controversial that I'm saying, or I may have said the things the wrong way, and I feel like if I put it out, you know what I'm saying, it's going to be misinterpreted or misunderstood, right? But when I'm talking about our people with woolly hair, right? Our people with woolly hair, okay? Straight hair, to me, upon my research, means there's a lesser ethnic strain of blood in you, okay? We got to understand the forces within us, the electromagnetic forces from the solar plexus within us kinks our hair into DNA coils, right? So I'm not down with straight hair at all, right? Because I understand straight hair means a lesser strain of ethnicity, but she's about to go into the Caucasus Mountains thing, so I'm gonna just go ahead and let it play out.
Except they want the theory, because they haven't done any research at all. See, the game has been.
He said there's a lot of ignorance that y'all kicking, and y'all not doing y'all research at all. Y'all ain't doing no fucking research to understand where they are today.
Hold on, everyone. They got everyone thinking that, not only us.
You know, I told you earlier, so don't spoil it for people.
I won't spoil it.
Okay. But I was talking earlier, family, about how I wanted to make a quick little PSA for all of my fellow white people. And
listen to what she's saying. This is her PSA.
And I just wanted to say to you all, you know, the government's calling everybody Caucasian who is so-called white. And I don't know if you all know, but the Caucasus Mountains are in Africa.
That's right.
She said the Caucasus Mountains are in Africa.
So-called white. And I don't know if you all know, but the Caucasus Mountains are in Africa.
That's
so-called white. And I don't know if you all know, but the Caucasus Mountains are in Africa.
That's right.
So just like
one more time.
White. And I don't know if you all know, but the Caucasus Mountains are in Africa.
That's right.
So just like they're calling us black, African American, white, Caucasian, might as well be white, African American.
See, both.
He said that's right, and he co-signed it, and then that's an error, my brother. Okay. Because now it looks like an agenda. Okay. Now, you learn geography in elementary school, right? So where she got this information from, I don't know. Okay. But you heard the sister say that the Caucasus Mountains are in Africa. And for that reason, like I said, white people in America, the Caucasians, should be calling themselves African American. Okay? Is she so educated? Both of them. All right, I'll let you look at this while I'm doing it because I've already searched it. All right, so you got the Caucasus, the region. You got the Caucasus Mountains, and I put in the Caucasus Mountains in Africa. And this is why you got to fact check shit, because you'll be like, damn, I thought I knew something, but maybe I didn't know it as I knew it. So let me check it out. So I'm going to put in the Caucasus Mountains in Africa. I know what the Caucasus Mountains is, but for the sake of the viewers, okay? So it's not saying anything about Africa, the Caucasus mountains in Africa. All right, so I'm gonna go to the Britannica. Britannica may not let me pull it up. You might have to subscribe. I don't remember if you have to. All right, we good, son, family. All right, so it says the Caucasus Mountains, also known as Caucasia, Caucasus Mountains, Kavkaz, Kavkazski Mountains. Okay. A little hip hop fact from the 80s from brothers, when you seen brothers name like Cool Rock Ski and the ski on the end of their name. The ski was because, you know, brothers or sisters dabbled into cocaine. That's what I was told. Maybe not, but when I see ski on the end of anything, that's what I think about. Caucasus Mountains, mountain system and region lying between the Black Sea west and the Caspian Sea east, and occupied by Russia, Georgia, Azerbaijan, and Armenia. They got 2-letter A countries there, but it ain't the continent of Africa. The great historic barrier of the Caucasus Mountains rises up across the wide isthmus separating the Black and Caspian Seas in the region where Europe and Asia converge. Okay. And you can go down and you can see the information for yourself. Okay. So it's showing you where the Caucasus is, right? Turkey. Now remember, Turkey used to be Byzantine. Okay. Byzantine is Greek and Roman. Right. Okay. Modern day Istanbul in Turkey is where Christianity was made legal. Okay. Where Constantine in Constantinople, now modern day Istanbul, took the Romans from their pagan religion and connected it with Christianity. Okay. Now look, okay, so the Greek mythology, the range was the scene of the sufferings of Prometheus. Now, if you haven't seen the movie Prometheus, I say go watch it. It is a good movie. You know what I'm saying? I believe it's connected to the Alien sagas back into the 80s. Go check the Alien movies. Go check the Aliens versus the Predator movies. But go check out Prometheus. Prometheus is deep. Okay? And the Argonauts. Because when you check out Prometheus, you're going to have to ask yourself, where did the native Indians come from? Okay, go check out Mission to Mars. I think that's the one with Don Cheadle in it. That's a good movie. The ending is great. Whether you believe it or not, you are starting to see videos now that are stating that there was an advanced civilization on this planet millions of years ago prior to the inception of the human being. Now remember, this is DNA, and DNA can morph. You can mix into DNA, right? You can hack into the body. They're telling you now that you can hack into brains, right? And all of this is electricity, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen. You feel what I'm saying? Okay, so the Greek mythology, the range was the scene of the sufferings of Prometheus, and the Argonauts sought the golden fleece in the land of Colchis, the modern Kolkita lowland of Georgia, which nestles against the range on the Black Sea coast. The ranges also became a major land route to the north for cultural diffusion of the Middle Eastern Fertile Crescent civilizations. These people of the region have exhibited an extraordinary ethnic and cultural diversity since early times. The Colchians, right, for example, as described in the 5th century BCE, so that is the 400s, by the Greek historian Herodotus. Now you got to know the differences between the Greek and the Roman civilizations, right? The Greeks was closer to the blacks, us as the original creators, and the Romans are closer down to getting to AD, if you understand the chronology of a time map, right? For example, as described in the 5th century BCE by the Greek historian Herodotus, were black-skinned Egyptians. Though their origin remains unclear, they'll always tell you that the black people's origins are unclear, but they'll tell you where the white people came from. Okay? The reason why our origins are obscure is because they don't go back that far. Okay? Archaeological studies won't even help these people, right? Because they don't go back. They don't go back that far. They only go back 6,000 years, okay? But Herodotus definitely said whether these people came from the Fertile Crescent Middle East civilizations, right, that ended up in Georgia, these people are black-skinned Egyptians, okay? Whether he knew they were Egyptians or whatever, that's what he called them, okay? Now, we know Egypt or Egyptian, okay, is a Greek way of saying Hut Ka Futa, okay? I don't know how they got Egyptian out of Hut Ka Futa, right? It must be in their letters and things of that nature, but this is where Egyptian comes from. So listen, there's no such thing as an Egyptian, okay? And people might be like, yeah, that's no, there's no such thing as an African. And so with that regard, we'd have to apply that. There's no such thing as an American or a South American or a Middle American. Now, when you put your mind on it, you can sit back and see, hey, somebody had to designate these names on these continents. It might be done by the people who are only 6,000 years old. Okay? When they came, they said, hey, this is our spot now, right? This is our spot now. Black people do it too. Right? Black people do it too. You will name an apartment building a different name. You know what I'm saying? You know, it could be named the Chateau, but the homies in the hood call it the Sha-Sha. Right? And along with that, Chateau and Sha-Sha got different history, if you can understand what I'm saying. Because Chateau, the apartment building, was built by whoever built the apartment building and was there in this experience on that plot of land in the neighborhood, in the hood, for whatever time, right? But then the inhabitants of the building gave it a different history under Sha-Sha, right? And that's what's going on right now, okay? Nothing has changed, only the names. Only the names. it also uh, um, taken on lesser blood ethnicity culture. Because to claim American Indians are black and then the straight hairs are the descendants, if you say $5 Indians or wherever they came from, they being called Indians, you got to really prove that. See, I've already proven how we exist on this planet out of Africa, and I haven't even given you the full breakdown, because the breakdown that we have under 9 science and noon science is deep, right? And deep sometimes can be boring, because I got to get my comprehension right, so that can be boring. In subsequent centuries, successive waves of people migrating across Eurasia added to and were molded by the more established groups in the region. Who are the more established groups in the region? The Black Egyptians. You know, the people coming from the Fertile Crescent civilizations. Okay? This information right here is way before what anybody know about in America, South America. For this matter, at this time, it's not even known that it's a continent called America or South America or Middle America. Okay? And from the regards of telling history, nobody in the old world knows about the new world. And nobody in the new world is making noise loud enough where the old world is respecting it, or is writing about it, or is talking about it. You see what I'm saying? It's not until the European gets over into America and then we have American history. Okay? It don't work like that for Africa, though. You find the right information in Africa about Africa from many sources, many different ethnicities as far as authors. The Africans made it to America before the Europeans. The Africans did business with the American Indians. Are these the same exact people? The Black American Indians today are saying that they are not the same people. So if they're not the same people, then the American Indians in America don't have woolly hair. Okay? If they both have woolly hair, then they're the same people. I'm talking about genetics. I'm talking about blood. I'm talking about electromagnetism. If they both have woolly hair and the Black American Indians are saying that we have no connection to Africa, then here is where you have to provide an excellent key. Here is where you have to provide excellent sources. Okay? Because that notion is going against the world's notion. Even a white European, if you ping his head with proper history, he has to agree with it. You have to take him outside of his culture and history within his country, right? But when you get down to it, you have to take it all the way back to Africa, and he has to accept that. And anybody who doesn't accept that pretty much is a racist against woolly-haired people, right? Anybody who can't get with the fact that all human beings come from Africa, an original sun race being people with woolly hair, people who can't get with that are racist, or if they're black, they're self-haters. Okay? Today, nobody has proven, even Dan Calloway saying the history was written in reverse. I showed you his write-up. If he didn't, put down in the comments, show me his original write-up on 98% of Black Americans are in fact Indians, and we can discuss that. You understand what I'm saying? But nobody has accurately shown how history was written in reverse and given the true chronology of history from America. These people saying America is the old world. Okay? Then, where is the history from the people itself? We're not finding things from America over there, right? Even the homes that we live in, apartment buildings, houses, are constructed Europeanly. Okay? In America, during the 60s or 70s, black people had to be confused though. They didn't know who they was, right? And people keep talking about black. Black people was not just only called black in America. We was colored. We was Indian. We was Negroes, African Americans, and then black is like the last part of it, unless you're looking at a dictionary or some shit of it. You know what I'm saying? Like black is from the 60s. Now we know we use black people, right? We use black people. We use black like we use white in America based on the duality. If you don't say white, then you have to really designate what type of white person you're talking about, because a British person isn't a person from Sweden. A person from France isn't from Portugal. You know what I'm saying? So we use white people over here the same way unless we're really going to need to designate. Now, when you say Indian, it is the same thing. Indian, okay, East Coast Indian is not a Midwest Indian. It's not a West Coast Indian. An Indian from Canada is not a Southeastern Indian. We are not all the same. You have to designate that. Okay? Now, what we say as 9 scientists, as Ethiopians, we claim the planet. When we say those who have woolly hair, originating in Africa, not being Africa, not being African. We are new, quote unquote, black people in America, or the newest sense of black people on the planet based on our time of origination. Hey, you got to talk about the mixtures. Black people in America are not full-blood Negro, full-blood Indian, full-blood African American, full-blood Negro. There is some mixtures in there. And whether you say the mixtures is in you because of rape or whatever, the mixtures made you. So you got to claim them. And since Indians are not all the same in America, I want to know. I'm not seeing nobody's paperwork, y'all. It's all good to believe and say your grandma said one thing. Right? It's all right to believe. But was the protocols followed in family? Okay. Was the protocols followed in family? Do you have any documents, any paper, any handwritten paper your grandma might have just been scribbling, right? Because all of that is legality. All of that is, if she put on there I remember my mom telling us we were Blackfoot Indian, but she just scribbled it on a notebook. That's a part of your history. We not seeing anything like that from these people who saying they Indians. They telling us, they swaying us to change our minds, right? I'm sure you still looking at this information on the white backdrop. You see the black comes with the knowledge. You see what I'm saying? The black comes with the knowledge. Black, it's always black letters, right? Boom. Now look, look in the mountains. And the peaks is white as snow. Okay? Come on, you gotta do. We can't be ignorant now. We can't be ignorant now. Now, here's my mind state, right? Okay, Atlantic used to be the Ethiopian Ocean. Before it was the Atlantic, it was the Ethiopian Ocean. Okay, all the continents with A names have black people on them and descendants of Africa. Okay, the ancestors of Asians, Australians, South Americans, North Americans, the ancestry line is Africa. Okay, I already told you, you got to definitely prove, right, that it started in North America. Now, North America is almost in conjunction and online with Europe. Okay, we got to understand the thermodynamics on our planet. Really, seriously. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be comprehensive. Okay, black people are who they are because of the thermodynamics of this planet. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is what I mean by the thermodynamics of the planet. Okay. Now, the core of the planet in today's time, right, we call that a brain. Okay. We call that a brain. This core is, if you will, a gift from the sun to generate the planets. And this is how the planets is connected to the sun by way of the core. Okay? As you see here, the core of the sun, right? The core of the earth, earth's inner core, okay? Structure of the sun. All right? They not on it like this. You dig what I'm saying? They not on it like, they haven't caught up to 9 science yet. They still trying to be identified, but they don't understand what they are. This is the precursor brain of black people. This is the sun. Okay? This is the sun. Hydrogen and helium. So when I'm talking about the thermodynamics, that's right. You seeing ocean, water and mist is very important for us too, and the oxygen. Okay. Now when you go back to earlier maps, okay, shit starts to change. Things start to change. America se ve en día nova. That's Spanish. That's Spanish. So this is obviously being told from their standpoint, right? You got Europa, okay? The ocean is Mar des North. Okay? It's changed. Africa, Egyptos, Nubia, still there. Arabia, right? But it's up here where the Caucasus Mountains is. Anatolia. Okay? When you go back in the maps, they change. You see, on this one, America, this is one of the oldest maps right here. America and South America is hardly on there. But they still have the description of Africa, Europe, right? Here's a map, right? World patterns of thunderstorm frequency in Africa. Okay. South America, hardly any in North America, none in Europe. And why am I bringing this up? Okay. Lightning. Okay. When the opposite charges build up enough, the insulating capacity of the air breaks down, and there is a rapid discharge of electricity that we know as lightning. I told you we're electromagnetic. Okay. The actual breakdown process is still poorly understood. The air breakdown creates ions and free electrons that travel down the conducting channel. Now, would you like to know or think that it's lightning that created black people? Okay. In a time when the conditions were right for this to happen. Not just black people, life on earth by way of these electric charges hitting the waters. Okay. The electric charges hitting the waters. Contrary to what their name suggests, negative ions have a positive effect on the air, human health, and the feeling of well-being. They enter the body mainly through the respiratory and skin pathways. They help the exchanges between cells and the penetration of oxygen into the air lungs, into the lungs. Okay? That's deep. Right? Okay? It says negative ions are molecules floating in the air or atmosphere that have been charged with electricity. Okay? Negative ions exist in nature in tons of places, including ultraviolet rays from the sun. Discharges of electricity in the air after a thunderclap or lightning strike. Okay? So when you talk about what they're talking about, okay, when you bring it to this time, we're talking politics. We're talking politics because they're not telling us who we really are, right? They're not telling us who we really are. I don't know why they don't really understand this, okay? Inhabit of India, Indian, South Asia, right? Wouldn't you prefer it to be American Indians, right? Because you're the original people. America is the old world. So inhabit of India or South Asia shouldn't be there. It should be American Indian. 1300s from late Latin, okay? Now, when I showed you, when we talking about Latin, come on, baby Bubba. So let's do a different map. My baby Baba. All right, let's get a good map. Let's get a good map. All right, let's see what's cracking with this. See if I can get in here. Wow. All right. All right. Latin. Okay. Latin is where Italy is. Okay. What is that? Rome. Rome. Okay. From Indianness. From India. Let's see India. Okay. It says go see India for a greater understanding. The Indian subcontinent, Central Asia, south of the Himalayas. India over here, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Nepal, Myanmar, okay, Burma, Thailand, Bhutan, okay, Sri Lanka, okay. Formerly sometimes used generally for Asia. So India is generally used for all of Asia, okay? All of Asia. So that's going to include India, Pakistan, China, Mongolia, North Korea, Taiwan, Thailand. You know what I'm saying? So all of that was India. Old English now. Where's Old English? You got it. Old English. You got to go from Italy. Now we got to go all the way up to Britain and Germany. Okay. These are not the same people, folks. Well, they're the same people, but as far as how they designated these countries and things of that nature and how they broke off and did their own things, right? These are not the same people as far as the land masses is concerned. Okay, we got to go all the way up here. Matter of fact, Britain ain't even really touching Europe. You dig what I'm saying? But anyway, okay, from Latin India, from Greek India. So India is in Greek. They told you that India wasn't even India until the 1950s or 70s or something like that. But it's in Greek. Greek as Herodotus, 400, 500 BC. Region of the Indus River. Okay. In the Greek times, was America known about? So this is where Dan Calloway got to be like, oh, here's the information where we was given the world knowledge, and the Greeks didn't know about us, but we knew about them, type of thing, right? Later used of the region beyond it from Indus. Okay. Hash, Kush, Indus, Indus River, Indian, from Old Persian, Hindu. So when you say Hindustan, that's not even Persia. Go to Persia. Where is Persia at? Over here in I think it's like in Armenia. Nah, I don't want to get this twisted. We can find out. We can definitely find out. Delete full is Persia. I want to say where Kim Khan. Iran. Okay. I should have. I don't know why I didn't know that. Iran. Boom. Right there. Kuwait. Okay. So that's Persia. Okay. Let's look at that again. Kuwait, Iran, Qatar is not in India. Okay. You see the descriptions. The name for the province of Sind, from Sanskrit, Sindhu. Now, you still, like I told them, you got to understand language, my people. Okay? That's still Indus, Hindu, India. It's the same word. Okay? Even when you put this Middle English form as they're showing you with this Y right here, Yende, okay? The more common Middle English form was Yende and Ende from Old French. Hence, that produced the Indies. The form India began to prevail again in English from 16th century. This is the 1500s. Okay, so what does that tell you right there, my people? Okay, it tells you India up here is where it's coming from. All right, it came back in use in the 1500s, perhaps under Spanish. You don't have to put the perhaps right there, under Spanish or Portuguese influence. And then it says from 1947 in reference to the Republic of India. Okay, and this is what they're talking about. All right, but it was in the Persian, it was called Hindustan. Okay, Sanskrit, Sindhu. Where did the Sanskrit come from? Your Indo-Aryan branch of Indo-European languages. It arose in South Asia. Okay. Sanskrit is the sacred language of Hinduism. All right. So dealing with them, they're dealing with Hinduism, dealing with anybody outside of India, they gave the name Indians. If you can understand that, the regions out here that are defining and giving you these terms that are outside of India call these people Indian. All right. Now, what's interesting is you don't see it for inhabitants of America when you click on India. All right. Indies, India and adjacent regions and islands. 1550s. Okay. We know people in America predate the 1550s, but y'all all want to be called Indian as if you're one people. You're not one people in America. Okay. One people is there has to be a signifier. And for us is woolly hair. You dig what I'm saying? Indy 500. White terms. Indian. White terms. In fact, they got a we'll keep going. We'll get to that later. Okay, later in a time of geographical confusion. Later in a time of geographical confusion. So they go get you all of these books, but it's the etymology, it's the dictionary, it's the encyclopedias, it's the almanacs. Those things matter. You have to go look at those things. Those things can't be changed, yeah, but you have to put something there to actually change them. It was applied to the Caribbean basin, which was distinguished from Asia proper by being called the West Indies. Okay. For fun, let's look at Africa. Okay? I told you we're not Africans. Why? It tells you the origin of this term. Latin, Africa, terra. Okay? Terra means land, or in sense, it can mean earth. Africa land, Libya, the Carthaginian territory, the province of Africa, Africa as a continent. Okay? Adjective, Africus, from afar, an African. This is all North Africa. Okay? Who made this definition right here? The Romans. See what I gave you with the earth core and the sun core, right? I gave you melanin and things of that nature. What would you call this type of being on earth? When I show you that we're connected to the earth, the sun, the atmosphere, the electricity, and things of that nature, all of this stuff is charging us. We don't understand it because they got us going through the spell, which is the whack ass music they playing right now, the whack ass shows and movies that they playing right now. You understand what I'm saying? And the homosexual agenda that's going on right now, right? You see what Cat Williams is releasing right now. It's a whole exposure. Well, I feel like people still trying to be something that they not. All right, when you look at the culture, what you see as the culture of Native Americans, that came from Africa. You're not gonna tell me that you're gonna put a Native American drummer up against an African drummer and that Native American drummer is gonna get him. Nah, man. Nah, man. Right? I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. Now, this James Brown in Zaire, Africa. Man, you're not gonna tell me that the backdrop of these rhythms is coming out of the forest of America. You're not gonna tell me that, man. Okay? You're not gonna tell me that none of them people up on that stage can be found in the crowds and in people in Zaire. In fact, what is the difference? Okay? What is the differences? Back to the definition. The Latin word originally was used only in reference to the region around Tunisia. Okay? This comprehension, people, it gradually was extended to the whole continent. It gradually was extended to the whole continent. How is that? Well, check out the history of Tunisia. Check out the history of North America. It's connected to the Romans. Okay? That's a lot of word spreadage. Derivation from a Phoenician cognate of Arabic, afar, dust, earth is tempting. Okay? So from there, it says dust, earth is tempting. The Middle English word was Afrique. Now, if you wanted to connect that thing to the Bible, but to us, these people that was created in the Bible are not the original sun people. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. Okay? The definition of Africa, right, comes down to the derivation from a Phoenician cognate of Arabic, afar, dust, and earth. Okay? dust and earth. When you go into the Quran, it says, we created the human being from a quintessence of clay. Okay? Who made all things, he created excellent, and he started the creation of the human being from clay. Among his signs is that he created you from dust. You see, that's the Romans. And it is he who created from water a human being. Then has he established relationship of lineage and marriage. Your Lord is omnipotent. Okay? You must have seen that picture. I didn't want to show that picture. I might have to edit that out. But baby in a womb sac in water, right? Human beings created from water, given lineage and marriage, the distinguisher. Okay, those are just some verses from the Quran. I also showed you Ethiopian. Okay, you got to understand when it goes down to Old English, okay, it's a sun worshiper. Okay, we always knew that the sun was the Most High. All right, Ethiop. Now, here's what's interesting. Because in Ethiop, okay, you see, in Africa, we'll do African. I think I just did Africa. But you have Negro connected to Ethiopian, okay? There's Negroes in America, right? Okay, that term is definitely used in America, all right? And I went down and I broke down, okay, Herodotus talking about the Caucasus, okay, in reference to the Ethiopian. Who the Homer Ethiopians were is a matter of doubt. The poet himself elsewhere speaks of two divisions of them, one dwelling near the rising, the other near the setting of the sun, both having embrowned visages from their proximity to that luminary. Both having embrowned visages from their proximity to that luminary, and both leading a blissful existence because living amid a flood of light and as a natural concomitant of a blissful existence, blameless and pure and free from every kind of moral definement. This is how the Ethiopians are described. There's no better description of a people. And are we in this light now? No, we are not. Why? Because we are under the spell. Okay. African. Okay. Native or inhabitant of Africa. Okay. We are not native or inhabitants to Africa. We know that. Okay. We showed you Africa is a Roman term. Used the white residents of Africa from 1815. Okay. White residents not those that are from Africa, the residents. They did not originate in Africa. Used of black residents of the U.S. Okay. When it especially meant one brought from Africa, okay, one brought from Africa, right? Now, if you on point, you'll be like North Africa, Morocco, blah, blah, blah. You can go into the Friendship Treaty and things of that nature. They still talking about the Moors. All of this is a part of who we are, all right? Sometimes what's contrasted to native-born Negro. Now, the only two differences of descriptions when it comes down to African and Indian, obviously it's the continent, okay? Because I just showed you that India was not applied to America and South America. It was applied to the Indies later down in time. So the only difference in contrast is the continents, Africa and India, and I don't come from India. Okay? Now check this out. It says one brought from Africa and sometimes was contrasted to native-born Negro. Okay? Contrasted to native-born Negro. What does contrast mean? The state of being strikingly different from something else in juxtaposition or close association. Differ strikingly. So the native-born Negro is contrasted against the African. From 1722 of are pertaining to black Americans, right? Descriptive term from Latin, but it says here contrasted from the Negro. Let's look at Negro. Member of a black skin race of Africa from Spanish or Portuguese Negro. Okay, so this was still in reference to the Latin, because now we in the 1550s, right? So the definition is Negro is changing, things of that nature. So they said a member of a black skin race of Africa, okay? Black from Latin. And then you go into this, the negative terms. You dig what I'm saying? But Negro is connected to Ethiopian, okay? Moor and Blackamoor is also connected to Ethiopian, okay? A Negro generally was a blue man. What is a blue man, right? I don't know what a blue man is. I've never heard that before. But see, let's see if we can look it up. Is that right? Did it jump back to Negro? So, as I said, in the 1960s, black came in, okay? Blue man, I want to know what that's connected to. I want to see if we can find another source. All right, it says Ethiopian. Oh, that was an interesting term, but it's connected to Ethiopian. I wanted to see if it was connected to anything. It's the French color for blue, of course. I'm gonna have to further go back and check that out. Sacred blue. All right. Yeah. So, with that being said, this whole video was about. All this video was about the connection to the Caucasus Mountains, which is in Africa, which is not. Okay. If you like the video, if you like the content, thumb it up. You know what I'm saying? Any comments, I would appreciate any comments in connection to the info that I'm expressing. You know what I'm saying? You can add on, or if you disagree, you can tell me why. You know what I'm saying? And also, don't be afraid to push that subscribe button, man, so you can get some notifications and some more videos just like this. 9 Science. Some people, woolly hair, beings, original people on the planet around the world. Holla.